Today, I'm going to be roasting every NFC team's upcoming 2023 season. And just a little disclaimer before I start, I don't believe everything I say. They're all just jokes for good fun, except for the things I say about the Packers. Fuck the Packers. The LA Rams. After making a deal with the devil to win Super Bowl 56, your team is now in poverty. And not only did you fuck over the whole city of St. Louis just to move to LA, but the Rams fucked over the foreseeable future for this team just to luckily win one Super Bowl, and they needed a Detroit Lions stat padding quarterback to do it. The future is looking so bad for this team that your head coach was contemplating retiring at the old age of 37. Nobody has any real expectations for this team heading into 2023, and Rams fans are just praying they don't finish in last behind the Cardinals. The Atlanta Falcons. Falcons fans trying to be supportive of Marcus Mariota as their quarterback last season are like your parents trying to be supportive of your dreams. They know you're gonna fail. But don't worry, because now Desmond Ridder is your starter, and after week 8, Falcons fans will be wanting to keep Ridder in just to tank for the 2024 draft. Also, Atlanta still hasn't learned that it's not just offense in football, but there's also a defensive side of the game. With their top pick in the draft, they drafted a strong running back to pair up with their other strong running back to pair up with their other strong running back. So sure, the run game's gonna be strong. Falcon fans are praying they don't fuck that up too, but they're gonna have to score 30 plus if they even want a chance at winning. The Carolina Panthers, and I bet I can guess what everybody's already thinking. He's just gonna make jokes about Bryce Young being short. Well, I'm not. I would never stoop that low, and I'm gonna be unique and original. The Panthers have been in quarterback hell for a while and haven't had a solid quarterback since Cam Newton. Even that's a stretch, as he was pretty overrated. The Panthers traded away their star sprained ankle running back and top wide receiver, and Panthers fans yet again have another coach to look forward to quote unquote saving the day with Frank Reich. But we all know nothing will change, and I've also heard rumors to fix Carolina's quarterback problem that Frank Reich is winding back the clock and he's going to be starting under center week 1. Also, the quarterback he just drafted number 1 overall can barely see over the line of scrimmage. I said it. The Minnesota Vikings. Kirk Cousins is still your quarterback. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The only reason your team was remotely relevant was because Tom Brady was your quarterback last season. All of America had to sit through 60 minutes of garbage football every time the Bucs run primetime, which felt like every damn week. And of course, the Bucs won the division last season with a losing record and lost to the Cowboys at home in the playoffs, but thankfully Bucs fans can rest for this upcoming season because they know their team has secured 4th place in their division. Baker Mayfield's now your quarterback, and I don't know how the Bucs still managed to secure a primetime game over the Cardinals and Falcons, but I can assure you the Bucs will be the least relevant team of 2023. The Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears fans are still delusional and think Justin Fields is their savior quarterback and not a running back. But you know everyone, they've been through quarterback hell. Let's just let them be and figure it out on their own. People still think the Bears have a shot at making the wild card round when they had the worst defense in the NFL last season and a terrible offensive line. Chase Claypool was supposedly the answer for this offense, and now it's DJ Moore. So we will see, can Justin Fields throw a football? For my fantasy football team, I'll be drafting the majority of my players from the NFC North, so I'm guaranteed 2 high-scoring weeks against the Bears defense. The Seattle Seahawks. The Lions and refs sent you to Levi's Stadium last year to get your ass kicked by a 3rd-string rookie quarterback. After Seattle drafted Devin Witherspoon with their top overall pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, Seahawks fans are calling this defense the Legion of Boom 2.0. But it's just as I said, only Seahawks fans are calling it that. Nobody is scared of a defense, even with Witherspoon, that gave up 45 points to the Lions last year. And I would roast Geno Smith for having a fluke 2022 season, but I'm scared he would roast me back. The Washington Commanders. I don't think I could say anything that's worse than spewing sewage onto your fans. Every year the Commanders are still playing at FedEx Field is just an L in itself. The Commanders are the joke of the NFC East, and last season was a perfect example of the best it's gonna be with Dan Snyder still in charge. 8-1 and missing the playoffs. And even though the Commanders actually do have a pretty solid defense, nobody has any expectations for this team going into 2023. Who's gonna be the quarterback? Sam Howell, Taylor Heineke, Jacoby Brissett. I mean, come on. The Green Bay fucking Packers. The Packers have finally gotten out of their toxic relationship with their second husband. The relationship looked like it was going to fall apart as Green Bay was shopping around for new guys. But of course, as all toxic relationships go, they got back together for one more year. But now it's officially over. They've broken up, and I still think Packers fans still haven't realized that they won't see their perked up quarterback walk back onto Lambeau Field one more time. There still are some expectations for the upcoming season with a young receiving core and their new love, but the real questions are: 1, can the Packers beat the Bears without Daddy Rodgers? And 2, can Quay Walker control his big boy emotions? I mean, why does this man have beef with everyone? And 3, with Aaron Rodgers gone, can the Packers still maintain a solid relationship with the refs to sell games in their favor? And lastly, will Jordan Love also refer to Kirby Joseph as Daddy Kirby just as Aaron Rodgers did? Fuck the Pack. The New York Giants. Sure, the Giants made the playoffs last season and even won a playoff game, but it was a make-a-wish game against the fraudulent Vikings. And you're kinda in the same boat as the Commanders. You're not real contenders for the NFC East. Let the big boys play, and Philly and Dallas will put you in your place. And you gave Daniel Jones $160 million over the next 4 years. Just because he had one season that was a little bit better than his other 3 seasons, which isn't saying much. The Giants won't be just suffering for 2023, but will be suffering for the next 4 years. And can Barkley stay healthy? The Detroit Lions. There's actually some real expectations for Detroit football for this upcoming season. So we know what that means. Time for the Lions to sell as hard as they can. Detroit is going to be having their fans screaming "Same old Lions" by week 4 of the season. And after decades of suffering, last season the Lions finally beat the big bad bully of the NFC North, Aaron Rodgers, now that he was 39 years old. And the Lions fans' celebration of that will be short-lived now that Jordan Love is going to come in and own them for the next 10 years. People think that the Lions are finally close to winning a playoff game, but the reality is, they're nowhere close. They drafted a running back at 12, Jared Goff is their quarterback, and the only way they'll win is if Dan Campbell suits up himself. I know I said no team was safe, so obviously I had to go extra in on my own team, but please, I pray, please let none of what I said be true. Please. The San Francisco 49ers. Was Brock Purdy good, or was the team around him good? Let's hope you didn't get rid of your only viable quarterback with Garoppolo and you're stuck with Lance and Purdy. Can anyone on this team stay healthy? I mean, it's about time that Christian McCaffrey gets hurt, right? I honestly don't really have much more to say about this team. What am I going to start saying good things as roast? Your defense, it's really good. It's a complete defense. You're going to win no matter what because your defense is good, even if your quarterbacks fail. You're going to end up in the NFC Championship again, so take that, 49ers. The New Orleans Saints. Sure, now you have Derek Carr as your quarterback, but he's going to end up laying horizontal on the turf more times than standing up due to your shitty offensive line. The Panthers and Falcons are going to stump you. You're going to go 0-4 against them collectively. You're going to finish 3rd in the NFC South once again with some lousy 6-11 or 7-10. A mid-offense and a mid-defense make out for a mid-season, and your quarterback wears makeup. The Philadelphia Eagles. The turf was bad. That wasn't PI. The refs sold. Cry, Eagles, cry. The worst fan base in the NFL, and I'm here to watch it crumble. As this whole offseason, I start my morning with 30 minutes of praying on the Eagles' downfall. We all know last season was a fluke. Hurts peaked. He's never going to be playing at that level again, and Dallas is going to win the NFC South. Philly fans are still crying that CJ Gardner-Johnson didn't re-sign with them, and now the Eagles signed handicapped DeAndre Swift. And the only reason the Eagles even made it to the Super Bowl last season was because they faced a handicapped Niners team with no quarterback. If by some fluke or by some miracle the Eagles somehow win the NFC South, once again, they'll be losing in the NFC Championship to the Lions or the Niners. The Minnesota Vikings, Part 2. Again, Kirk Cousins is still your quarterback. And again, what happened in the playoffs last season? Everyone knew you were frauds, but you didn't have to make it so obvious. Losing in the first round at home against the Giants, making Daniel Jones look like prime Russell Wilson. Oh my gosh, what happened. For the 2023 season, the Vikings will either finish second behind the Lions or third behind the Lions and Packers. They were a fluke last season, and there's no way they will ever come close to that record again with Kirk Cousins as QB. And also, has Minnesota realized you need a defense to win games? And sure, the Vikings had the best comeback last season in NFL history, but I'd say it doesn't really matter because it's pretty embarrassing you were in that position where you needed to make such a comeback against the Colts at home. No team that does that can be taken seriously for the next 3 years. And last but not least, America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. I'm sorry, Cowboys, but you're an embarrassment. An embarrassment. Dak Prescott is your quarterback. Let that sink in. Dak Prescott is your quarterback. 15 interceptions last season in only 12 games played. Without the Cowboys' stellar defense, they're nothing, especially with Prescott under center. Sure, you won a playoff game last season, but it was against Tom Brady with a losing record. I mean, come on. When you look at the NFC South, you talk about the Eagles and you talk about the Cowboys, they're nowhere close, not even remotely close. The Eagles are 100% better than the Cowboys, 100 times better than the Cowboys. It's not even a close comparison. The Eagles will win the division again. The Cowboys might even finish third behind the Giants. There's no way they have a season like they did last year, and you'll never make it past the divisional round. And that wraps it up, roasting every team in the NFC. Hope you enjoyed. Let me know what roast I missed in the comment section below. And just to reiterate, I was joking for everything. I don't believe everything I said. I believe nothing of what I said, except what I said against the Packers. Fuck the Packers. I'm joking. Or am I? If you enjoy my content, I'd appreciate a like and a subscribe. It helps me out a lot. And once again, as always, thanks for watching.